This hit goes out to you, Mr. Wick.
John Wick might have taken a final bow in Chapter 4, but his legacy continues with Ballerina, an upcoming action thriller starring Ana de Armas as the titular assassin. While previous John Wick movies offered a glimpse at ballerinas who are training to be contract killers, the focus was still on Keanu Reeves' hero. Today at ScreenRant, we look at the new trailer of Ballerina that is going viral for its fast-paced action, Ana de Armas' stunt work, and of course, the return of the Baba Yaga.
Last words, Winston?
Just have fun out there.
After John Wick Chapter 4 gave an emotional send-off to the Boogeyman, the franchise has expanded to focus on similar characters in its grim and gritty world. While the Peacock series The Continental served as a prequel to this blood-stained world of assassins, Ballerina is a spin-off that introduces a whole new killer. Ballerina isn't just a John Wick spin-off, but it's also an interquel that is set between the events of John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum and John Wick Chapter 4. The trailer indicates that the Ballerina will also function as an origin story for Eve Macarro, a deadly ballerina assassin played by Ana de Armas. This isn't the first time John Wick fans saw a blend of ballet and killing. In John Wick 3, Keanu Reeves' protagonist met his former mentor, the director, at a theater where she can be seen training a group of young ballerinas. Through the rigorous and painful dance routines, the director trained these tutu-wearing dancers to become one of the most lethal assassins in the world. Ballerina similarly captures Eve's tough training that turns her into a human killing machine. But much like John Wick, Eve can also be seen going on a violent rampage for personal reasons. While Wick had given up his life of crime, it was the death of his pet dog that drove him to seek revenge and let all hell loose. The Ballerina trailer simply shows Eve to have lost her family before she got taken in as a ballerina assassin. Maybe it's their personal tragedies that make Eve and John Wick so alike to each other, but that's not the only thing they have in common, because the Ballerina is trained by the same organization as John Wick. Throughout the action-packed trailer, it's clear that Eve is being trained by the Ruska Roma. Inspired by the Russian Romani crime organization of the same name, Ruska Roma is depicted in the John Wick universe as a group that adopts orphan children and turns them into ruthless but disciplined assassins. John Wick himself went through such a transformation, having been adopted by Ruska Roma at an early age. As Ruska Roma is an organization that values a code of honor, this practice is seemingly continuing till the events of Ballerina. After Eve is orphaned like John Wick, she too is trained alongside other ballerinas in the art of killing. The Ruska Roma training routine can also be seen as a way of brainwashing young children. While we got a glimpse of this dangerous organization in the John Wick movies, Ballerina can finally delve deeper into how it functions and how it changes the lives of young children forever. In this way, Ballerina can also be seen as a coming-of-age tale in the world of John Wick. For an organization that has a massive global base, Ruska Roma needs multiple high-ranking leaders. Anjelica Huston appears in John Wick Chapter 3 as the director, a mysterious mentor figure who trained John Wick back in the day and continues raising young, deadly ballerinas. We see Anjelica Huston return in the new Ballerina trailer, indicating that Eve has the same mentor as John Wick. The last time we saw the director, she was training ballerinas like Rooney, the assassin played by real-life ballet dancer Unity Fallon. Ever since Ana de Armas was cast in Ballerina in 2021, fans speculated that she would be playing Rooney, but it's now evident that her character Eve might have gone through the same training, but she's an entirely different person. And as for John Wick himself, the Baba Yaga also makes a surprise appearance towards the end of the trailer. Eve is shown to be in awe of John Wick when she crosses paths with him in the trailer. She then wishes that he trains her to become as unstoppable as him, but John Wick simply says that she's already a lot like him.
Looks like you already have.
So while Eve might see John Wick as a worthy mentor, there are also chances that both the assassins can work together. The adrenaline-fueled action in the new trailer already proves that Eve has all the skills to become the next John Wick, taking on multiple enemies alone. If not any fighting techniques, John Wick might still impart some wisdom to Eve, considering that he's older than her. Irrespective of what their relationship is, an Eve and John Wick partnership would be a major crowd puller for audiences. Throughout the John Wick franchise, some of Wick's most constant allies have been the New York Continental Hotel owner Winston Scott and his loyal concierge Charon. The heroic duo makes a return in the Ballerina trailer. It's also revealed that Winston is the one who finds Eve and takes her to the Ruska Roma. The crime syndicate might have turned her into a remorseless killer, but Winston still looks at her like a daughter. So when Eve seeks refuge at the Continental, Winston welcomes her with open arms.
Pleasure to see you again.
The trailer also features Charon, who is standing behind the Continental reception as usual. Charon's appearance makes makes for an emotional Easter egg for John Wick fans, as actor Lance Reddick passed away in 2023. And while his character also breathed his last in John Wick 4, it makes sense for him to appear in Ballerina, as the movie is set before Chapter 4. The New York Continental is still intact and hasn't been burnt to the ground by the villainous Marquis Vincent de Gramont. Ballerina marks Lance Reddick's final screen appearance, making for a nostalgic throwback for John Wick fans. In the world of John Wick, most assassins prefer using guns, but in John Wick Chapter 4, some even used fire blasting guns, as demonstrated by John Wick himself. This gun could shoot explosive bullets that are rightly called Dragon's Breath. While there is no use of Dragon's Breath ammo in the Ballerina trailer, the final scene shows Eve to be fighting a man with a powerful flamethrower. This intense confrontation is bound to remind John Wick fans of Dragon's Breath. As John Wick himself appears in the spin-off, there might be a possibility of seeing many more such callbacks. Fans can only hope that the Ballerina can also make weapons out of everyday things such as a pencil or a library book. After the events of the first John Wick film, Keanu Reeves' assassin faces assassins from all over the world. Judging from the trailer, a similar hit might have been issued on Eve's head, as Gabriel Burns, the Chancellor, is described to be leading an entire town against her. Once again, like Wick, Eve must rely on her fighting skills and allies like Winston and Charon to survive. The Chancellor's intentions seem unclear, but he has the power to pull the shots and issue hits, just like the Marquis from John Wick Chapter 4. Ballerina is different from the John Wick films in the sense that it's not being directed by Chad Stahelski. After helming 4 films in the franchise, Stahelski is taking a step back as Underworld and Total Recall filmmaker Len Wiseman replaces him. But Stahelski is still very much involved in Ballerina, with his 87 North Productions serving as one of the production companies. The music department of Ballerina is also virtually the same, with Tyler Bates and Joey L. Richard returning to score the film together. Having composed all 4 John Wick movies so far, Bates and Richards are set to return with their moody keyboards and intense guitar riffs. So not only does Ballerina carry the action spirit of John Wick, but also its distinct sound. All in all, Ballerina promises to be a bold step forward in the John Wick franchise. After 4 movies and countless kills, it makes sense for Keanu Reeves' hero to give way to more assassins like him. But while the Continental mostly received negative reviews, this second spin-off looks like it might fare better with critics and audiences. For starters, it looks and feels like a John Wick film, but Ana de Armas has enough action star potential to make Eve Macarro stand out as a brutal assassin in her own right. The actress has already proven her action chops in No Time to Die and The Gray Man. With a little help from John Wick, the Ballerina can be the next big action heroine. Are you looking forward to the Ballerina? Thank you for watching Screen Rant, and stay tuned for more movie news.